I am so excited for our guest. I didn't even catch up with him when I just saw his face because I wanted to save it for the podcast. He's hilarious. He makes some of the funniest fucking videos that I've seen on Instagram. He's a very funny comedian, and he puts me in stitches. He really does. Not in a bad way, not in like an abusive way, in like a comedic way. Mr. Amir K.
Hey, Jessimae! What's up, baby?
What are you doing?
How are you, girl?
You know,
I miss you, man. I miss everyone. But
I miss you too. I genuinely miss you. I feel like you're one of those people who's in the somewhat periphery of my life, but every time I see you, I'm like, I feel like we need to be better friends. You're that person. I'm like, we need to be better friends. I thought that when I was in the kitchen making a coffee.
I feel the same way.
Yeah. How are you doing in this quarantine? Have you been really quarantining, or are you out there just waving your dick in the streets?
I was at first, but it's fucking hard, man, isn't it? Like,
it's
so hard. At first I was really like taking it seriously, and I think like lately I've been a little bit more lax about it. Been like cruising out and shit, like a little more. I can't do this too much longer,
I know
it's
it feels
up.
It feels really fucked up.
Jesse, I walk by people and I fucking have to get jokes in. I'm like, hey, nice dog, and I like do jokes to them. I don't know what the fuck to do. I'm like so sick of being in my house, dude.
Is this the longest you've been off stage?
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. 100% since I started. How about you?
Yeah, this is the longest since I started too. And has it made you realize anything different about yourself as a performer or person, like being off stage? Have you discovered new skills or maybe a new outlet?
I can masturbate way more than I thought in one day. No, but like definitely, dude, I fucking just I forgot how much I took the shit for granted. I know it sounds corny, but like, we'd go up every night and stuff, but like I miss it so much that I'm like, fuck, I'll never take like a stage for granted again, and like a live audience
agree.
Of people. Like it really made me think that,
It
like,
feels
I'm dying to get back on.
It feels scary though. I feel like I don't know, and I've had this conversation with other comedian friends, like Adam Ray today, like we don't know what it's gonna be like out on the road. Like, are people gonna be cool full clubs? Because right now they're opening half capacity, and that doesn't feel right to me.
It doesn't, and there's not gonna be a front row, and I hate when there isn't like a front. You know what I mean? Like when the connection is gone. Because, dude, sometimes I'll be talking and I'll like accidentally, you'll see the spit go, whoop, and like, oh, fuck. Like now imagine if that shit happens, they'll shut the whole fucking club down. The second wave is here.
I love when I see a spit flying through the air. I have that attention deficit. I'm like, did you see that?
I always acknowledge it. I thought I was the only one, but I always go, oh my God, I think I spit on the front row. Like you see it go on their fucking nachos. It goes, zoop, bitch.
Right on their lip.
Hummus.
It's a totally different climate now. If you spit on somebody in the front row, you're gonna be a hazmat team is gonna come in.
You're fucked. Yeah, that's gonna be so weird. And dude, how are they gonna do it where are we gonna have to wear masks? Like I can't do that.
I don't
perform
know.
With the fucking Hannibal Lecter. Like you can't do that.
No, it's
you know what I mean?
It's like it's such a gradual like evolution to the new normal, whatever it's gonna be. That I don't even know if we'll recognize how much of a shift it's going to be because of, just how long it's going to take for everything to get back to whatever the new normal is. But I don't know, man. I talk to Sam Tripoli too much. It's
Oh, you're fucked. You're fucked. Like, the aliens started this. Come on, people. The aliens started this shit. It's anyone. Now it's in your backyard.
I do too, but he, we have these like conversations and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, he'll get you fucked up, dude. Like listen to 15 minutes of him talking and you're like, okay, dude, the world is ending soon and we're fucked.
It honestly feels beyond Corona to me. And just beyond conversations with him, like another 3 months, why haven't we done this for like the sex trafficking epidemic that's in the country or AIDS or the regular flu? What's so different about this that we're shutting everything the fuck down? It feels off. It feels a little X-Files to me.
It feels super. I mean, I think Sweden did it right, to be honest. Like, they have like the old people. They're making sure everyone's like, like they're.
What did Sweden do? I just spit on my computer.
Throw it away. It's got Corona. I think Sweden did, like from what I know, I think they like kind of they didn't really shut down. You know what I mean? They kind of like, heeded the whatever like warnings and all that, and then they took the right precautions. Like they put the old people and the people that are more at risk and shit. They like put them, you know, what not away, but like they kind of made, I think, more rules for them where they shouldn't be going outside and stuff like that. But I think businesses as normal, and I don't think they've had like too much of a spike in deaths and all that stuff, you know. But I think for the States, dude, I think it's like, you know, you never know how stupid some people are, you know? So they have to go overboard with some of this shit.
AKA Florida.
Yeah, Florida's like out in the beach, like, we don't get corona. I can't miss spring break. They're fucking on it, dude. They're on like little corona fucking life rafts out in the beach. Just fucking
they don't give a shit.
They don't care.
They don't care.
Like,
they're not even hugging. They're just coughing into each other's mouths.
Coughing in each other's faces, open mouth tongue kisses. Little Jesse, dude. I fucking miss you, dude. I miss, you know what? One of the most fun times was that Lebanon trip was like, so that's why actually we kind of got to know each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Lebanon.
Dude,
so, dude, watching the guys ogle you was one of my, like, a fucking, like, you were a natural blonde, like the likes they have never seen. And they were just like, oh, every guy was like, oh, dude, remember? You had your pick of any guy. You could have fucked the president.
I did.
You could have fucked anybody. Remember the guy? I have pictures of all this shit, by the way. Like, the guy with the big belly, the king of the cab drivers.
Oh, I loved
after the club.
I loved him so much.
He was so cool. Somehow he was so cool, right? He had like some flag, and he like pushed his way through with his fucking big ass belly, like this guy.
He was in sandals.
Like, and he opened up and he goes, hey, and he started spitting game. He shot his shot. Jessimae.
In fucking sandals.
It was beautiful. It was a sight to see. I was like, God damn, this guy's got some swag. At first, I like kind of was like, oh, dude, he's not gonna be that good at this. And then he came in, and you were kind of. I got some pictures of you, like in your eyes. You're kind of like, fuck, I might have to hang out with this dude.
I remember him looking at me with those Lebanese eyes, and me just being like,
yeah, you were in a trance. I saw it. I saw that shit.
It was like somebody's grandfather with a huge belly and sandals. And I'm like, this is my guy.
But they like respected him. Remember all the other cab guys were like, oh shit. Oh, you know, Harut's talking or Hang's talking to her. Like, oh dude, it's, you know, he was like the alpha for sure.
He was
that
the alpha.
Fucking cool. That was so cool.
I have a photo of it. You made me go take a photo with him.
Dude, because I remember I had the girl I was hanging out with that week. Like I met a girl. You remember I had like a girlfriend for the week.
You're
like
amazing.
She was from Detroit. Like I went to Lebanon to meet a girl from fucking Detroit. And then like, so I was hanging with her, but then that guy came and I'm like, oh, hold on. I remember leaving to go take a picture.
We left that club at like fucking 3 a.m.
There's no rules there, dude.
Lebanon is so amazing.
There was no rules. Remember, they're like, what time does the club close? Like, when do you want to go home? They're like, when do you want to go home? Like, what? Like, there's no rules. I didn't think it was going to be like that, you know?
No, I thought it was going to be the opposite. I thought there was going to be a little bit more of a strict approach to like their cultural norms compared to ours, but they love to party. They don't give a fuck. And the culture is so jovial. Don't you think?
I have videos of us at the club and shit. And like, we don't even know. It was like crazier than I've seen here. I was like, what the fuck? And I'm going, what's happening? And you're like, you're like yelling like crazy. It was so fun though.
With all the balls dropping from the ceiling.
Yeah, it was New Year's every day for them. Every club we went to. Remember, they like set us up with the big table.
Yes, it was wild. So I had no idea that culture was going to be like that, and it was interesting because I know you have performed in other countries as well. There's always a little bit of a delay when it comes to the translation time. Like after you say something, if you're speaking in English in a country that's not initially English speaking, there's a second or two delay. But they were like. Their English was their English was really good. The ones, everyone that we were talking to, right? Yeah.
Even like when Byron and I would cruise, like the three of us were such fucking sore thumbs. A black dude, a blonde chick, and a dude with long hair. They were like, who the fuck is this band? Like, what band is playing in our country? They were tripping, dude. You remember we'd be walking, everyone's like, and everyone's staring at Byron too, Yeah. Because we looked so odd. We looked so fucking different than what they're used to, but
we did, especially in a group. And then you put Skylar Stone there. They're like, who's the tour manager?
Skylar is such a like we don't do this in America. We don't do it like this in America, guy. You know, like every group has one of those guys. You're like Skylar just fucking go. He didn't come out of his fucking hotel room for the most part.
No, he missed that beautiful meal at
Yeah,
Salamanca.
Salamanca.
How
That
could
was
you
just
miss? I never miss a meal. I know I look like I miss all the meals. I never miss a meal.
Dude, do you remember that one by the that one by the water was fucking dope? And then we went and jumped in. Remember? Oh, you
And I
posted
almost,
the video.
yes, I just posted the video. Almost
Yeah,
drowned in the ocean.
that was gnarly. Dude, that was that the same day that we went and we smoked that weed in the cave? Like
Yeah,
when we went to the cave.
we saw the Jesus statue.
Yeah, I told you this before, but that's one of those times, dude. We're in there in this cave and we look and it's fucking Jesus Christ, and we're like, and we're smoking a joint in this cave by the fucking Mediterranean.
In a cave.
It was so cool, dude. But those are those times. I don't know if you've had that moment where you're like, I think I've told you this before, but like where you're just sitting there and you're tripping out, like how comedy brought you to that place. You know, it's like,
oh yeah,
pretty cheesy, but you're like, fuck, man, this is so cool what we get to do.
It really is. And it's the only amazing places I've been to is because of comedy.
Yeah.
And that's why this quarantine is so constrictive on many levels, creatively, explorative, and just being able to communicate with people. I feel so restricted to my normal essence. I feel like it's that's why I was like asking you, earlier if you discovered anything new about yourself, because I feel like in times like this where it's an unprecedented time for so many people in this country being, contained to their homes, I've realized some things about myself, like taking time and being home and with my own thoughts has made me sort of clean out some bad habits and things I have that I don't need. Like it's made me kind of reflect a little and want to improve so that when we come out of this, that I don't have any excess baggage weighing me down.
I totally agree with you. I think a lot of comics have taken like self-inventory and shit and like looked at themselves, and dude, I guarantee you like the game's going to be so different, not just the way the clubs are going to be, but the way like people are doing, you know what I mean? Just like material and the way.
Yeah. What do you think is going to be different?
I just think like people are just going to, like you said, they're just sitting in their heads now a lot about like what their material is or what they're doing on stage, or you know what I'm saying? And just anything about their performance or what they want to convey to the audience, or, like what they're saying up there. So I think it's going to change a lot for the comics that stay in the game. Cause in LA, I'm sure fucking a lot of people's like, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people that were struggling and not touring, we were fortunate enough to be able to be touring before this, there's a lot of guys that were like on, not at that level yet maybe. And so they may have quit and shit. So I think there's going to be a lot of like, a lot of the newer comics maybe have given up if they weren't all in on this shit.
Right.
And then I think that, a lot of like the one comics like us that were touring, we're going to really like sit back and go, shit, what have I been doing? And, cause I was stuck in a loop a lot of the time, like when you go up every night, you don't really like, sometimes I'd just be going up and being okay. And then I wouldn't even, maybe be creating as much as I could have, you know what I'm saying? And now like I fucking started a podcast, I had this like podcast studio in my house, and I'm like, I made one of my rooms a podcast studio for years, but I was touring so much that I never had a chance to start it. I mean, cause I was going to do it by myself and shit. And now I just started it, and that's been a good outlet to like, get my thoughts out, cause I do it by myself.
Yeah. You're one of those comedians who not many comedians can do it and be interesting and retain attention, but I definitely would think you're one of those guys or comedians who could talk off the top of your head and have something to say and a point of view. And that's awesome though. What's your podcast called?
It's called Salty Locks. It's like, fucking, I don't know, dude. I just picked a name. I'm like, fuck it, let's go. And I just started one day. I'm like, dude, let's just do it. It's been so fun. I don't know. You've been doing yours forever.
Yeah.
And like I should have started this shit. Everyone's been, told me like, dude, start one. And I just never did. And then now that I have, I'm like, fuck, I'm having so much fun with it. Especially it's giving me something to do and something to talk about. Like now throughout the week when I'm like, oh, dude, instead of going, oh, I'm going to talk about that on stage, I'll be like, I'm going to talk about this on the podcast. So that's been really fun.
Yeah, and it's a great way to like workshop shit.
Oh, totally. And I know that now I'm getting ideas, like little seeds of ideas that I'll be able to like riff and work out on stage that have potential to becoming bits,
Yeah. If we can get back on stage, like it's a good point. The whole like level of comedians who aren't going to make it through this. There's a lot of comedians. It's such an interesting industry because there's a lot of comedians who work religiously at the Comedy Store who are never on the road.
Right.
And those are the comedians that are going to struggle the most because they don't have that, income outside of just the one location. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen when we go back out wherever it is and however it's going to be. I have a thought. I was talking to Adam Ray about this. I don't want
to. Yeah, dude.
Come on, dude. Yeah, dude.
Come on, dude. I love Adam, dude. He's like, yeah, dude. Come on. He's like so positive about everything. Yeah, it's great, dude. Come on.
He is. He's great. That's like my brother. I was saying, like, I don't want to go to a half-filled club. I don't want the new normal to be less than what it was before. I want us to come back like strong and better than before. I just don't know. Like, do you think the clubs are going to be half staff? Like,
I
literally?
don't know. I hope that people don't like trip out, like overnight how this fucking thing happened where everyone's horrified to be out of their house. It's like, dude, come on, man. It's like a virus. Yeah. And like, yeah, like I said, the at-risk people should probably stay away from, social gatherings and stuff like that. If you're like super overweight or you have some pre-existing lung conditions or something like that, or you're older, yeah, maybe stay away from like going to a fucking rock concert. You know what I mean? But like if you're younger and like in good health, and I'm sure they're going to have like some preventative measures at the door with like testing with the like the little test that they do with the temperature.
The little they stab you in the brain through your nose.
That thing fucking just Q-tips at the door, bitch. And then fucking stab you. Or whatever they do, but they're gonna have some sort of thing where hopefully it makes people feel comfortable enough to go back. But I feel like if there's a second wave of this shit, that will really fuck everything up. Like it'll be like no one will be wanting to go out and be in like these clubs and stuff like that, sitting next to people. And I think that may fuck shit up. But I'm trying to be optimistic about the whole thing.
We have to be.
Yeah, just hoping that like it'll go back and we will be able to perform like normal. Because dude, I don't want to be with all the restrictions and you see like the empty tables. That's death for a comedy club anyways. Like the laugh doesn't carry, you know what I mean? And there's groups of people sitting in certain, pockets, and it's, some people are laughing here and then it's, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And the room's not fit. There's a reason why, a comedy club has them packed tightly,
Yeah, Brad sent me a picture of the club that he was going to play. I think he's going out this weekend. I think he's going to Omaha, Brad Williams.
Oh, okay.
And the club, he showed me a picture. I was like, how are you going to perform? What are the standards now? And he showed me a picture of the comedy club room, and it's like a third of the tables.
Like they took all the other tables out.
Yes.
Yeah.
It looks like a wedding for teenagers. There's only like 20 people.
A wedding for teenagers, like they're too young. Like I want to know what the thought of this was. No one's coming because they're
not
teenagers.
Gonna make it. I'm not putting on a dress for a teenager's wedding. They're not gonna fucking make it.
I fucking love it, dude. What about that? What was it? Fuck, I was just gonna say something about the clubs being like that, like the half capacity shit. I don't know. Like, what club is that Brad's doing?
I don't know the name of it. It's in Omaha. It's not the Funny Bone, which I love. It's not the Funny Bone out there. I don't know which one it is. It looks like one of the maybe like a smaller company owns it, not like one of the Improvs or Funny Bones. But I'm interested to see. I want to know. I told him like I was gonna have him on the podcast. I was like, wait till after because I want everyone to hear what the experience.
For sure. I'll listen to that shit. Yeah, dude. But like, yeah, I heard, like Tammy and Rick, House of Comedies.
They're amazing.
They're opening, I think, the Vancouver club because my buddy Dino Archie, I don't know if you know Dino, but he's doing the weekend coming up. It's like in a couple weeks.
And so what's Canada doing?
I don't know, but I guess they've loosened the restrictions or something because they're going to be opening the club in Vancouver. And it's like, I don't know if you've ever been to that. It used to be called, what was it called? I forget what it used to be called, but there was a theater downstairs and it's kind of like a 250, 300 seat like theater looking room. And they're going to do the same thing, like 50 people only. So dude, what the fuck, like.
You're going to get on a plane, go through customs for 50 fucking people.
Yeah, I know. Well, no, he lives there. So that's why they're using him. So he lives in Vancouver. So I think it's going to be an easy play for them. But dude, what the fuck? Like a theater with 50 people in it? You know what I mean?
It's weird. It's weird.
It's like a bad college gig or something,
Right. It just feels like, but maybe it's a personality thing because I'm all or nothing when it comes to things. So I would rather wait until we're back at it than go to a half-filled comedy club, because the energy's weird, but then again, maybe it could be fun weird. You know how sometimes it's like fun weird?
Sure. No, absolutely. I think we would make the best of it. You know, I know, like, I'm speaking for myself. I think you too. Like, you're that type of way that could have fun with a room like that. I mean, you know, but it, I've stayed away from it. For example, like the Zoom shows and shit like that. Like, a lot of people are doing Zoom. I'm like, fuck. Like, people have asked. I'm like, no, dude, I'm not. I just, you know, having a little bit of self-respect for the shit. You know, the game that you've invested so much fucking time and effort into, to not just do it and like succumb to this fucking, you know, Zoom shows. And then here we are, like,
Exactly.
watch, if this thing goes another 3 months, I'm like, hey guys, Amir K live from Zoom. I'm like the fucking Zoom comic. But yeah, I've stayed away from those. So just like you said, I want to wait until it's like open to open, you know, and like we can do our thing.
Yeah, I
Like we used
agree.
to.
I haven't done any Zoom shows either. And I'm kind of glad I haven't. I just, in my gut, I was like, you know, this feels, people were doing it like a week after.
Oh,
And
dude, there's people doing it a week before. They didn't get stage time. They're like, meet me on Zoom. I'm not in anywhere. I go,
Meet
like,
me on
dude.
It's a donation.
It's a donation. Here's my Venmo. Fucking Venmo me, man. I was like, I didn't want to do your jokes at the fucking club. Why would I fucking pay to see you on the internet?
I'll pay if you never do this again. I will Venmo you if you fucking close your Zoom account.
So stupid, dude. Yeah, but everyone's jumping on it, dude. Like you said, so quickly. I'm like, dude, give it a week.
But it also, like you said, we're in a different space in our career and in the spectrum of comedy. We have the luxury to say no.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
You know, we've traveled to many different countries and we've been doing this for a long enough time to where, I don't know about you, I've, like I said, have been taking time to just be like, do I need 35 pairs of shoes?
You did the whole KonMari? Did you read that book? Does this give you joy shit?
No, I need it.
Oh, you got it. I'll send you the book. I forget the fucking name of the lady, but I was dating this girl, and at the time she gave me this book to read, and it was about clearing out all your shit. And it was like a big phenomenon in the States, I guess, a few years
Marie
ago.
Kondo?
Marie Kondo, bitch. That's it right there. Yeah. KonMari. What is it called? And when you go clean out your shit? Wasn't that the thing? And it was like, if you hold it and you fucking touch it in your hands and you go, does this give me joy? And then you toss that bitch if it don't.
You got to put t-shirts to your face and go, do I feel joy?
I see you just putting your dirty ass shoes on your face.
They all bring me joy.
And then you go, I can't. I'm a hoarder, dude. To some extent, I realized I am kind of a hoarder.
You have a lot of sneakers.
No, I mean, not that many. I just have boxes of shit, you know?
Hats?
Of like, I have hats, tons of hats. Yeah.
What do you hoard the most?
What do I hoard the most? Probably, I have tons of hats.
I feel like I haven't seen you with the same hat.
I don't know if that's weird, but if I buy something and like it's an expensive item or some shit, like my studio equipment, like I'll keep the box.
I do that for a year.
Oh yeah. Then you toss it when the like warranty or year is up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, but it just happens to build up, and then I got to go through it. Like,
but are you like planning on being homeless? Because then you might want to keep them. Yeah,
then I go, I wish I would have kept them. Fuck Jessimae in that fucking Sharp Tongue podcast. I threw all my boxes out. I'm homeless after a week. Fuck.
I mean, outside of my apartment building, I live in Marina Del Rey, which is not the cheapest neighborhood to live in. You know, it's like, it's painful to pay rent every month. And outside of my apartment complex, there are 3 tents, new tents that are popped up right across the street. Motherfuckers have full, like, a front porch.
They got Wi-Fi in that bitch. Don't fuck around, dude.
They do.
I saw a guy on Hollywood. I live in the heart of the fucking that shit. You know, Hollywood.
Yep.
There's a guy with a tent, dude. He's there laying down, like fucking like chilling with a laptop. He's got a whole thing. And he looked at me like I'm like, motherfucker on the sidewalk, dude. He was like this. He looked at me. I go, he's just all heroined out on fucking, whatever dark web shit.
Writing a novel.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, man. I mean, it's gotten so crazy here, but like now they've popped up in Marina Del Rey. You're saying?
Oh yeah, it's in the past, since the coronavirus pandemic, there's like literally a small little city of homelessness right outside of my apartment complex, and they're having domestic disputes every night.
Right, but they have nowhere to go, dude. What's sad is, the fucked up part is, like when shit was normal. they'd have those, and I was like, I'd get pissed. But now it's like, fuck, some of these people just literally have nowhere. No one's taking them in because of like, the situation.
It's
So I'm like,
brutal.
fuck. Well, yeah, but also like, if this shit's so like the virus is so bad and it affects people, and some of these people are really sick and shit on the street. You know what I mean?
Very
Like
mentally
alcoholic,
ill.
yeah, that too. But like, I'm saying health wise, they're not healthy at all, right? And then how is that disease not like gone in, let's say like a homeless community and fucking just spread rampant and killed everybody?
That's a really, really good point. I never considered how.
Are they just not talking about it, or like, you know what I'm saying? Because these people have to have been getting corona. If you know what I'm saying, like they're fucking not living like super sanitary, lives. There's dirty shit all over the place, and they're touching it, and
I never considered that. Like I didn't even think about that. Maybe it's because a lot of, I mean, the homeless people I've seen physically appear pretty healthy, but mentally, like the disease is isolated to the brain, so where that doesn't really spread the way a virus does. But then again, with the virus being introduced into society, those who don't have a lot, I can't imagine they're eating organic foods from Whole Foods.
I know,
it's still a good point. Like, how are they able to survive? And also to that point, if a homeless person on the streets, which is what homelessness is, can survive through the quarantine, you can fucking survive.
Yeah, dude. Like, why? I don't know. Some of this shit's like too crazy, Like I have friends that are like, no, dude, like they'll get like I had my buddy come over like with the mask and shit, and he was like standing outside my place, and then people walk by and he got in his car and closed the fucking door. I'm like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? Like how overnight that you started doing that? And we were introduced to this shit, I'm convinced, a long time ago.
I think so
feel like
too.
I feel like I had it. I was really sick. Like I took a flu shot, and then I got really sick like in like December, of this 2019. I think, and we're traveling so much. I'm hugging people after shows,
no
shaking
more
hands, meet and greets. Oh, dude, it's gone. That whole thing, this whole thing, you might as well fucking take it out. You're not gonna be doing that anymore. The last time you'll be able to do that shit. And I like hugging people after the shows and talking to the people and shit.
It's one of the greatest parts.
Yeah, I love that part, and that's gonna be totally gone.
It's going to be at least for a year, and that's like,
I feel bad for kids growing up now, that are like they didn't get to experience the world the way that we had it, because it's gonna be so different, dude.
It is gonna be so different. I mean, think about the world post 9/11, and that was had such a different reach, and it resonated with people so differently because it didn't collapse or shut down the economy. It wasn't quite a global pandemic. It was our Pearl Harbor per se, but it wasn't the way this has been detrimental to our economy and to the entire world feeling it. It's a weird time. Like, it's one of those things, I think, when you get older and we're in our 80s, God forbid we make it to that, we look back and we're going to have the craziest perspective about this time that we're going through right now.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy that, I was tripping on the other day. I was like thinking of, that too. I was smoking a little weed. No, I was fucked up. I was fucked up. I was on peyote.
You look, if peyote was a human, you look
I look like a peyote. I know. I've been told. You're not the first person to tell me. I'm a peyote. I'm high right now.
Shaman.
That's the problem. I was fucking smoking earlier.
Me too.
Oh, good. Well, let's fucking do a little celebratory blaze. But
I know.
What I was tripping on about was that, 100 years ago, they had the Roaring 20s and shit, right? The Roaring 20s was 100 years ago. And they were having fun. It was all speakeasies and underground, like, shit. And that's going to happen again.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if this shit goes on too long, and it's already starting to pop up. Somebody sent me a text and said, like, oh, like little speakeasies are popping up in New York. People are sick of being like in their little tiny apartment, and they're going to these little fucking, people's houses that are become like little speakeasies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's so crazy how that's like 100 years. And now we're in the 20s, and we're going to be doing similar shit.
It's like history literally repeating itself. Is this our Great Depression? Is this our?
It is, dude. This is it. We're living through because this is fucking. And I'm saying, okay, when the money dries up from like from the government, like they're giving the government. They're giving. Fuck you, dude. We're getting too serious. I had to mix it up. I couldn't do it too much longer. I was like, if I was listening to this, I wouldn't want to get my fucking info about what's gonna happen from these two guys.
Wait. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, these are the guys that are giving you your advice. When the unemployment runs out, fuck. What are we doing? Those are so funny, dude. I used to wear glasses like that when I was a kid.
I bet you did. I bet you had horrible vision because you have such good hair. It had to be balanced out. Who the fuck is that dog? It looks like you.
This is Duke. I swear to God, my dog looks so. My mom got me this mug, by the way. It's my dog, Doogie, and then she spelled his fucking name wrong. Doogie. Look how she spelled it. What the fuck?
He's so cute. He matches you. Where is he?
We're the same fucking guy.
Oh my God. Is he elderly?
Oh, he's elderly as hell. Yeah, he's 14.
He's so sweet. He was just at your feet.
I love him so much.
Do you sleep with your dog?
That's all. That's the only person I've been having sex with. No, yeah, he sleeps with me, dude. I mean, I'm so glad I have him. If I didn't have him, I would have fucking hung myself.
I have my big pit is in a bed right here. He's on the floor.
Isn't it the best having your dog? I mean, if you didn't have a dog, like what would you do?
I think it's vital to a certain aspect of mental health to have something else to love and to take care of and that loves you unconditionally.
I agree. I mean, you have to have that as a human being to have that love.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
That feeling. You know that feeling you get like when you're like hugging your dog or like you're like petting your dog or like that's something that it does to your heart. Like that's essential for human beings. I feel like if you don't get that from somebody else, you know what I mean.
And think about what that does, how detrimental that is to somebody's like children, to their brain development if they're not.
They don't have it.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a real disease. Why aren't we quarantining or figuring out some sort of approach to that? Like that's when I say we're going to reflect back on this time, I hope all of our efforts aren't in vain. I hope all of our efforts really are towards this disease and not some other Sam Tripoli truth.
Oh boy. Fucking Kim Jong-un started the virus, man.
Is he alive?
I don't know. I don't know where the fuck he is, dude. I was talking about him on my podcast the other day. Where the fuck did he go? Why can't we just ask Dennis Rodman?
Dennis' friends.
He's his best friend. He's his fucking best friend. Why don't we just ask him, Dennis? I think Kim Jong-un. You know how he talks?
He talks like he's choking on marbles and water at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. I'll talk to Kim Jong-un. But it's that cocaine. You know, when you get cocaine, throw cocaine through, like, I'll talk to him. I partied with that motherfucker too, dude. He used to live in Newport Beach when I lived there.
Cocaine throat? Wait, I have so many questions. I've never done cocaine, so I don't know cocaine throat.
Oh, then why are you asking me? I've never done it either.
You haven't?
I'm kidding.
I believed you.
No, dude. Yeah, I've done coke, but it's a little coke drip you get when you do it. It'll like.
Oh yeah, I know that. I know that it does drip in the back of your neck, and it sort of reminds you need a new bump.
It'll numb up your throat a little. There go my sponsors. Sorry, Disney.
Wait, so you were Dennis Rodman's best friend first?
No, dude, that's so funny. We used to, there's a buddy of mine that used to rent a beach house that was connected to his, like every summer.
Shit.
And we were like 15, 16-year-old kids, and fucking Rodman, that was the height of his partying and craziness, dude. And he was like, when he was with Carmen Electra, you know?
That's right. The late 90s?
Yeah, exactly. Late 90s. And he pulled up to the, like we'd be sitting there and it'd be like 2, 3 in the morning and we were done partying. We were just like winding down on the little, you know, cause it's on the water. So you're like sitting on the boardwalk and then this fucking guy pulls up in this huge lifted truck. Like he'd do this all the time, pull up on the beach and back up. And then a horde of people would just jump out of his fucking truck and they'd start partying at like 3 in the morning, like all fucked up on everything. And then we'd just be like, it was just crazy. We would just be like little kids. And then like, you know, I'm sitting there talking to a porn star. I'm like, hey, you know, at 16 going like, and they're all fucked up on Molly and shit. And they're just talking or ecstasy at the time, maybe. It was just a trip. It was like crazy.
Are you a big sports fan? Like was Dennis Rodman someone that you were like, holy shit, I'm a huge fan?
No, I mean, I was never that because like my dad and shit wasn't into sports. You know, a lot of kids I think get that from their parent. You know, like they watched sports with their dad, or my dad didn't give a fuck. He was like, we're immigrants, you know. So I like playing sports, but I was never like a fan of sports. You know, like I didn't get, you know what I mean? Like somebody,
Yeah.
if I saw a celebrity or something to like a sports figure, it wouldn't be like, holy shit. To me, it was more like, you know, the actors or, you know, like if I saw fucking Jim Carrey, I'd lose my shit.
Yeah,
You know what I
same.
mean?
I
So
mean,
yeah,
even
for him, it was
today.
just, yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy the Dennis Rodman thing, you know, because he's a fucking superstar and a dope athlete. But like, um, yeah, I wasn't like, holy shit. But we were all pretty excited that he was hanging out. But it just made for a cool story.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
absolutely. Were you born
You know,
here? I don't know if I know
I was
that.
born in Iran.
And when
I
did
was
you come
born
here?
3 weeks ago. And it's been a pleasure having you on the podcast. Your podcast is very excellent, Matt. You're a very beautiful lady.
Your
Yeah.
podcast.
You know, I've been watching you online very much. I came when I was 5 years old. 5.
And do you remember that time? Do you remember it being a
Dude,
big
that's what fucked
deal?
me up. I think that fucked me up. You know, my mind. And you know, when I do a lot of characters and shit and like little different accents and stuff in my act, I've figured out that that's why I'm good at doing that because when I came here, I would like learn how to speak English by mimicking kids. You know what I mean? Like I'd
Right.
watch them talk and I learned how to like just mimic their voice, you know, to speak English myself. You know what I'm saying? So I think that helped me that way. And
You
that fucked.
created characters to sort of blend into the new culture for you.
Sure. And I would like, I remember doing impressions of all my teachers and shit like that, you know, but it was just like, and that was the way to connect with the kids then, I think, was like through humor or some shit, you know? This has become like some cheesy podcast.
No, I talk about this shit. Like you can
Yeah.
feel free to let it all out. That's what
And then
they
my
are
mother
used
left
to.
us.
Did she?
No. No, but dude, I got fucked up because like, imagine being a kid, dude, because I don't know what happened in my brain because I had an accent at some point. You know what I'm saying? When you come as a kid, I talk no English, no English. You know, I probably talk like that. You know, and there's fucking pictures of me as a kid. I'm like, damn, and I see my like in my eyes. I'm like, this little poor little kid just wanted to be loved. You know, I'm just like sitting there like fucking, and then I'm thinking of like the mindset of that kid because I don't remember when I lost my accent. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I don't remember the day where I was talking like that. Then all of a sudden I wasn't talking like that because I talk like this now. But what the fuck? Like that must have been so traumatic. Imagine you're 5 years old and your whole world as you know it is Iran, right? Like Farsi, Iran. I don't even know anything much outside of that. Then they bring you and fucking plant you to a place you don't know anything. People are talking, but you can't. You know, that's what it sounded like to me. When they're talking English,
Yep,
and you're
just
just like, what?
noises.
Yeah, and you're just going, what the fuck is this guy? I remember they dropped me off in kindergarten because right when we came, I was, you know, that like right when we came, I had to go to school. It was kindergarten age, and I was like fucking horrified, and I was crying my eyes out because my mom left, and I was like, what am I doing here? I don't know. And the teacher would be, what's wrong? You know, I wouldn't understand. And so that must have fucked me up mentally so bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just
I'm sure.
some scarring that I don't even, you know, I'd have to probably talk out with a therapist, which I haven't done. But I'm sure
But
one
you
of
know
the
what?
reasons maybe I do stand up or some shit, you know?
Absolutely. I think it also maybe that I'm a firm and true believer in tragedy defining, you know, essentially your essence and why you become who you are. And that tragic moment and the struggle of being a immigrant, a foreigner in a country that you don't understand the language of gave you your purpose,
Yeah,
you know?
I would say so. I mean, I don't know. I think because I remember doing that, and I was always like class clown and shit. But I think it was just as a way to like belong or fit in or have people like me. You know what I mean? Because I
Absolutely.
always felt different. I always felt like, you know, like I didn't belong. You know what I mean? Even like all through high school and shit like that. Like I had tons of friends, you know, but I always felt like in the back of my head, like I'm not like them or something, or like, you know, because they're American or some shit like that, you know?
Yeah, that's
This is a
interesting.
weird vibe. Yeah.
I felt that way and I'm from here.
But you're an alien as it is, dude.
I am an
Put on
alien.
your fucking Yoda, man. I love your videos, dude. Just the crazy bullshit ones. You fucking, yeah, all your masks and shit. Yeah, that's a
Yo,
good
wait.
one.
Oh my, you know what I just realized that I have?
What?
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude. You got to put those on and have a debate. You should have sent me one of those and we could have fucking done a whole podcast as motherfucking Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump.
I'm gonna mail you one. We're gonna have to do another episode.
Let's do it. It'll last fucking 3 minutes. And I'll be like, I don't want to do this impression anymore.
It'll be worth the 3 fucking minutes, man. It really will. I'm seriously gonna send you a mask.
Do it, dude. We'll do it again. That'd be fun.
I definitely felt the same way as a kid, though, for sure. Like, I wonder what, I understand, like, how you could develop those skills and be funny as a tactic to blend, evolve, and connect. Like, I understand that, especially because you came from another country and you were so young, and all we're ever doing, hopefully, is adapting. I mean, that's what makes you a survivor. That's like Darwinism. You don't adapt, you die. And so you were just smart at the age of 5 to figure out a tactic to blend and to belong. I don't know why I became that, because I feel the same way as you. I never felt like I belonged.
We have I noticed like we have like a similar, I don't know if it's a sensibility or something, but I feel like we had a similar, like whether it was something that we didn't get from our parents, that we do what we do, because we're that breed of comic. I feel like, what I'm saying? Like there are different types, like there's the Seinfeldy type, like that didn't have the trauma or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like there's different types.
Yeah, I think Seinfeld's the type that figured out how to be funny.
Right. And but I don't know exactly how to put this into words, but like I feel like, when you could tell like, oh, that guy was like me, or that chick was like me growing up, or was that person in her friend group or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's why maybe we do club comedy and shit, like, you know what I'm saying? It's for everyone. It's like, that's what we learned growing up, and we were the funny person in the group.
And we could always figure out how to make it funny. We always knew what to say in a scenario, and found that moment to get that little quip in while the teacher's back was.
Yeah, dude, 100%. And I mean, that all I went to school for, that was those moments, and then I'd come in and at lunch and I'd be like, dude, I said this and I said this, and I'd redo it. I was doing fucking sets in high school, like I'd go and do the joke, and I'd come at lunch and go and tell each friend group like what had just happened, you know what I mean? And then redo the joke and then do their impression and I feel like you were doing the same shit, Yeah. But getting the little lines in.
Yeah, you had to get those little lines in, and you just like, I was friends with everybody. I didn't have a clique.
Yeah, I was friends with the whole thing, and I felt like I don't know if you were the same way, but I was like friends with everyone, and I didn't feel like, oh, I was super super close with everyone. You know what I'm saying? Like I still have a couple friends that I'm close with, but my old friends and stuff, I always felt like I didn't belong in that. You know what I mean? Like close, they had best friends within those groups.
Yeah,
but I was the guy that
same way.
Yeah. I was like a funny guy that would hang out, but like, I wasn't like super tight with the other people, Yeah,
like I'm the same way. I have a few friends that like maybe like 5 people that I've known for a very long time, and maybe like 1 or 2 high school friends, but I didn't have like a single best friend. I didn't have like, fucking ride or die to today. Like I feel like I was everyone else's best friend. Does that make sense?
Well, it was like, where you had like these they were invested in you as this person, right? Like for me, it was like the person that would come, and I had different circles of friends that I would hang out with. And within that circle, you were the funny person probably, you know what I mean? So they'd want you around, right? But like at the end of the day, like sometimes I'd be like, fuck, you wouldn't have that like super tight, close friend that you were like, oh man, from day one. I have, like I said, I have a few guy friends that I still hang out with to this day that are my homies. But like, other than that, it wasn't like, felt connected to everybody really.
It's strange. I think that's one of the consistent things with a certain type of comedian. I think you're right. It's just that like, it's almost like the thing that's in the core that drives you to continue to get on stage, to continue to find the connectivity, to make people laugh. Like it's like a ball that's rolling around in water, and it won't stop. It's just like a continuous desire and craving to have that connection. And what did
there's that void? Do you think there's that void in us then, that like that's why we keep doing it? Because I know I say like, oh, you'd like to think that like, oh, we'd like to spread the joy and whatever, but it's a very selfish thing for a lot of us comics. We go on stage because we need it. You know, and I'm not, I admit to say that I need the audience. Like I fucking, you know what I mean? Like I have to sleep well at night. I want them to like me. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like, I
I think
want
there's
to
an
do well.
aspect of a void for sure, but I think by nature humans have voids because we're born out of one. How could we not? Look at the nature of the planet. The planet is suspended in the biggest void of all.
Mhm.
How could we not each have some sort of internal void? I think every human being on the earth
There's
has
something.
something, a desire to fulfill that little space that cannot be filled. You know,
Right.
that I really believe
Would
that.
you
Maybe
say for
I
you,
smoke too
would you
much
say for
weed.
you, it's like your asshole?
I would.
Would you or not?
Wait,
You
I can't.
know,
Hold on. Let me see if I can show you my asshole. It almost looks like an asshole, doesn't it? Look, look. Wait, if I can hide my other fingers. Doesn't it legit? Look.
dude, if your asshole looks like a hairy knuckle, look at this. Does this look like your asshole?
Yes.
Look at
Yes. That is exactly what my
where have
asshole
we
looks
come?
like. Do you know
This this undeniable void.
I made butthole candles. Did I tell you that?
No. How do you even go about doing that? Where's the
Well, because Gwyneth did the vagina. This candle
Oh
smells
yeah,
like
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah,
vagina.
yeah. You did an asshole one?
It's Ed do butthole, and it smells like my butthole. Not
No
like
way.
gross, not gross, but like a fresh butthole.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. At freshly showered butthole.
yeah, vanilla and leather. That's the scent.
Leather ass. Okay, leather ass. I like that. Okay, good. Very nice, very nice, very nice. So
What did your like? How early did you do stand up? I don't know that.
I don't like people ask me that all the time, but I felt like, you know, like we were talking, people like us, we were doing stand up without knowing we're doing stand up for
Mhm.
years and years and years. So there isn't like, because if you want to say when I started, I've moved along a little bit faster than people, you know what I'm saying? But I was already used to like, you know, knowing how to fucking throw that line in there or knowing how to get a laugh or something, you know? And then just the stage work was me getting comfortable in front of an audience, like a big audience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think like more and more just so I could be myself, like be the guy that I was in a classroom on stage. Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah. That's the goal.
That's
Like
what
to
I
be that
think
essence.
yeah, to that's what you work so hard to get to be to where we can just talk like this, but you can do it on stage and still make those little laughs and you get those laughs in,
And it
you
feels
know.
genuine. It feels like just a part
Yeah.
of that's the kind of comedy like you people like even Theo Vaughn who's really stepped into his thing, Dalia, um even people like Whitney who's so much more cerebral, but who they are on stage is who they are off stage.
Right.
It's not a
Like, I mean, it's a
complete
different level of it. Yeah, sure, it's tuned up, you know, even with like Theo or
right.
Chris, you know, but it's like, um, that's just what it is. It's like you play up those parts in your life to make it, you know, an entertaining thing, you know? Does that make sense?
What did your parents think of it? What does your
Well,
dad say about stand up?
I was just like, I used to have jokes about, you know, obviously they don't want you to do this shit. You know, it's like Middle Eastern culture. Obviously, they don't want you to do that. You know, it's like the most hack premise there is for a Middle Eastern comic, right? But like, it's not because when we're immigrants, the reason I've explained this on a lot of podcasts, but when you're an immigrant, like they're like, fuck, we came all the way here, dude. Don't do something that's not sure. You know, like what the fuck are you doing? Go to law school or go to be a, go into medicine or, be a doctor or be an engineer because those things are sure. There's a path, there's a clear path for that, for you to become like a successful individual monetarily because, there's a lot of, we're immigrants, like I said.
You're
So
already
that's why I think
taking on a big risk.
yeah, the resistance was that, if there was any. So like, but they always knew, like my mom always knew. So they weren't like super like, and I made that excuse forever, because I didn't do comedy. I did comedy a couple times when I was 18, like 3 or 4 times at an open mic. And I was like, I fucking love this. But then I made excuses not to do it for another like 10, 11, year. I started when I was like 27, like really. So I made all these excuses, but I made those up. Like I was like, oh, they don't want me to do this. I better go to school and do this shit. It
Did
wasn't
you
really,
go to school?
I went to UCLA, yeah, for my dad and shit. I was like, oh, I got into school. I was a horrible, like in high school. So I went to JC, junior college, like in Newport Beach or in Costa Mesa, Orange Coast College. And I fucking like worked really hard to get in the transfer program to go to UCLA, because I'm like, oh, I feel bad. Like, my dad brought me here. This was my mentality. Like my dad brought me here. Let me fucking at least do this. I know he always wanted me to go get a degree, So I did that for him, and I put a lot of pressure on that shit when I should. It's all bullshit. Like I tell kids now, like, you know, I meet a lot of like Middle Eastern Americans or whatever, you know, doing
I'm
what I
sure.
do, that are like, hey man, they'll reach out to me or something. So I always tell them, dude, live for you. Don't fucking make up this thing for your parents, you know, because at the end of the day, they want you to be happy, right?
Yes.
So if you have to do this shit, do this shit. You know what I mean?
And
And they're
commit
gonna
to
be,
it.
yeah. I'd never wanted to be the fucking funny guy at the water cooler, like 40 years old, and the funny guy. Hey man, hey John, you going to the Christmas party? Yeah, I'll see that. And then you fucking hate your life, and you go back and you hate your life. You know, it's like I didn't want to be that guy, and I was almost fading into that when I was doing real estate. You know, I was like, fuck. And I started real estate, and I made a bunch of money and shit. But I was like showing off to my dad, like, look at the condo I bought, look at this fucking car I have. You know, to make him proud of me. And then I realized, dude, what the fuck are you doing? You only get one shot at this life. Just do what you want to do, man. And that back in my head all the time, I was thinking, dude, I need to be doing stand-up. I need to be doing what I was supposed to be doing. You know, what I fucking was put here to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like when you really find your purpose and you're like, fuck, it's like you're doing a disservice to you and your whole family and everybody if you don't pursue that shit.
You are. You really
You know?
are. I mean,
Yeah, and you're just selling everybody short. Not only yourself, but fucking all these people that never get to see you, or you don't get to, you know, see your talent and how good you are at bringing a room together and making that shit dope, you know, like having a fucking good time and making them forget about their shit.
I mean,
Because you're
talk
so good.
about the unfulfilled void. The biggest one is people actually taking a risk and doing what they want to do out of life. And now's a good time to do that. I've been saying that to all these motherfuckers on the
Dude,
podcast.
right now. Yeah, that's such a good point. Right
you
now.
want to make coffee mugs? Make coffee mugs.
Mhm.
Make some custom coffee mugs. If you've always dreamed about it, put Dewey, what's his name? Doogie?
My fucking mom and her accent. Yeah, I put you the gas. I gotta go.
What did your parents do for work? Do they work now?
My mom, see, this is what's cool. My mom was always an artist. Like she did like, you know, paintings, and like she worked it with like metal sculptures and shit, like heavy metals and stuff, like welded shit. So that was kind of cool. So she was never like, you know, she always was, you know, a fan of the arts and stuff, but she came from like a pretty wealthy family in Iran, you know? But then when she moved here, married my dad and moved here, she kind of got cut off from her family. So her life fucking changed so drastically. She was used to some, you know, like her dad told her, like, if you go there, fucking you're on your own, basically. You know what I mean? Like if you go with him and you go on your own, that's what happens. She kind of got cut off from the family. So, you know, she's always been an artist at heart, but she's had a really rough life, man. Came here and we lived in a shitty apartment, you know, for like, and came and we had no money here. So then it's like, you know,
she
but
must love your dad.
No, but my dad, they'd been divorced since we moved here. My dad kind of like fucking, he was always, you know, fucking around and doing whatever.
No!
Yeah, so I feel bad for my mom, but it just really fucked up everything. Our whole family dynamic is really fucked because, you know, the way that I look at my mom, and, you know, sometimes I'll think like, because she was a kid when she came here. So I was learning how to be, you know, live in this society, and I would teach her a lot about how, you know, like the culture and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm sure it's that way a lot with children.
Yeah, it's that way a lot. So it's like you're almost the parent. So it's just fucking dynamic shift. It's really fucked up. And that's another thing that really affects you. You know,
yeah, that's interesting. I think people, you know, especially people who are, you know, I'm from here, I take that for granted, but that does happen. I know I have a couple friends who are also immigrants, that the child, because of the rate of learning, children learn so fast, they end up teaching their parents, and they become and take on this parental role. Like that's also a traumatic thing.
Dude, that happened. And my dad had already been here, but we didn't live with my dad in the beginning. Like, you know, they got a divorce. We lived with my mom for a minute. And then when I was in 5th grade, we went with my dad, and he was like fucking, you know, he was like younger than me right now. You know, he didn't want to fucking have a couple kids. He just didn't want to pay my mom child support or something, you know? So then you have that, you know, like, you know, and he wasn't like a bad dad. I don't want to say he was a bad dad because he just didn't know how to be. His mom died when he was 4. Dad was in the military, so he didn't know how to love. So he was just like, whatever, dude, at least I didn't leave. You know, that was his mentality. Like, at least I didn't fucking leave you guys on the street. Like, you live at my house or whatever, my apartment, like fucking, you know, have respect for that. Like, he didn't know how to, you know, and I'm trying to get a better relationship with him now as I get older. But I had a lot of resentment for him because of that shit, you know, and like feeling unwanted and feeling like, you know what I'm saying? And then my mom, like I had that thing like, oh, well, you're supposed to be with your mom when you're a little kid, you know, if you have a mom, like you're supposed to, you know, so it felt like
brutal
unwanted
place.
from both angles. Yeah. It was just a fucked up, like, and my brother has been dealing with that shit too, but he's been going to therapy. And for us, like, fortunately we have the stage to do it. I've worked out a lot of shit on stage, and I go, oh fuck, this is why I'm this way. Or my relationships with women, why it's like that. Because my dad was with a fucking different woman every week, you know? And I was like, oh my God, I'm becoming him. And then I had to realize, like, don't do that. I don't want to end up like, you know, making the choices that he made in some aspects of his life, you know?
Well, that's the hardest thing to do as adults, as we are now, is to evolve our own personal journeys. Like, so often people will say, I am this way because of my mom, I am this way because of my dad. But saying that gives authority for that behavior to continue.
Right. It's acknowledging that and then fucking making the adjustments is, I think, is what where the growth comes, or the person, you know, and we're both talking like we've read these self-help books, which I have. I don't know if you have, but, you know, I've read a lot of shit, like just in personal development and wanting to be better as a human being, or, you know, as an example, if I have children or some shit, you know, because I don't want to do the same mistakes that they did. But I don't fault them in any like failures as parents, because they had no fucking clue. Yeah, I couldn't imagine coming to another country. You know what I mean? Learning it all over again. Like, I would never be able to do that. So I give them all that respect, and I give them. I just wish that there was a bond of like the love with, you know. Sometimes like our family gatherings, it's just like a weird fucking thing. If we get like me and my brother and my mom together, it's like this weird thing, and there wasn't a good foundation of like a family or love or bond, you know?
Yeah, there wasn't
Everyone's like for themselves. It's weird. It's, you know, so it just,
yeah, fragmented. And that, you know, I come from a similar situation. You know, my mom and dad separated when I was young, and my mom, she's back together with my stepdad from before. They separated. Now my mom's back, and they're happy, and they've both evolved and have gone through their own individual journeys. But when I was younger, you know, my mom's, not my dad's replacement, but she moved in the neighbor's dad. The family who lived 4 houses down, their dad moved into my house.
Whoa, dude, I think we talked about this. I vaguely remember.
We did.
Yeah.
I think we had a heart-to-heart on that dirty beach in Lebanon.
We totally did. Yeah. That's why I'm like, fuck, how do I know this story? I'm like, did I read this book? And I'm like, oh shit, Jessimae fucking told me when we were staunched in Mediterranean. Dude, that's so traumatic. But that's those type of things that happen to us. Like, I think, you know, did kind of make you a little bit of the way you are. But then it's us now dealing with the shit to become better and realize that, oh, that's what happened. So let's fucking get out of it, you know?
Yeah, and to talk about it. Because so many people are stuck in their own hamster wheel, and they don't even have the self-awareness. Luckily, we live in a society where self-awareness is a fucking hashtag. LA, like, this is the place. If you have mental illness, come here, because you won't be judged. You will not be judged.
No, it's like another picture of yourself, another one of your face. You know, is this not? No one's telling you not to do this. Like, what are these people doing? But no one gives a fuck. They don't have self-awareness. They don't care. And I almost admire it. I'm like, fuck, man. I wish I had some of the, you know, confidence to do what you're doing.
I know.
Like every day.
Same angle.
The same picture. The same fucking picture. You know?
And all that photo says is my dad left too early. Just,
yeah.
You know, you can see through all the lines. Once you see through your own trauma, you can see and notice other people's trauma. And it's just, I hope for most people in this world, for, you know, people in my life, to recognize their own habits and to realize they have the power to change them. They really do.
Totally agree with you. And that's what I'm working on. I'm glad, dude. I'm glad we had this talk, because it's like, you know, there's other people going through the same shit.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's nice. Like, there's so many podcasts where it's, you know, a back and forth joke-a-thon, and that's fun.
Yeah.
But I intentionally have people on that I know and love, and people who I also know have come through and from some sort of struggle, and I know are candid enough to talk about it. Because honestly, the thing that changed my life when my dad passed away, and I was like,
that was a big thing for you.
Yeah, it was a big thing.
Yeah.
I couldn't not talk about it. I couldn't not talk about it. I had to, because otherwise I wasn't going to survive.
Like, are they going to get this? And I remember we were talking about it. I'm like, dude, you feel like, and you were so fucking great. It was like,
that's right. I was scared to do the jokes.
It was so true to what you were going through. And that's like, as artists or stand up, you know, comics, like, that are trying to like really be vulnerable and like fucking lay it all on the line. You know, it's like that's our thing to do. You did the right thing and you did it dope. You fucking went up there and just put your heart out there.
That's right.
You know
I
what
was
I'm saying?
so scared. I was like, I don't
Yeah.
speak the language. I'm this American girl. Like, are they going to understand? Are they going to be scared about it? Like, what is the culture like? And I remember
Right.
you being like, just go. Like, you just
No,
have to
because the
go
love of
and
the
do it.
Father is universal. I remember
Yes.
because it was like
Yes.
the love of the Father was universal, but there was something, remember it was the shower thing. It was like showering the dad.
Yeah, washing
Remember
my
you were,
father.
yeah, you were like, okay, I'm going to wash my dad. But then you made a joke about like, which we would in the Western world maybe laugh at, but in their culture, like, you know, it's like, no, that you have to have a little respect. Don't, you know what I'm saying? It was like one little tweak, but it was like, that's what your experience was. And you thought it was funny. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's like,
Yep.
oh, one little tiny thing is like lost in translation. Fuck it.
Right.
But
Right.
dude, you did the joke and I was so proud of you. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. She
I
did it. That's right,
remember
guys, what a
that.
real
Oh my
comic does.
God. Yes.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I can't believe that I forgot we had that conversation. You were like, you just got to do it. You just,
Yeah, that hot ass room and the hot ass green room. Like, just fucking do it. We're sweating. I'm like, just fucking do it, you bitch. Can I get a fucking water? I need water.
fucking Ron.
I love that guy, dude. Did he call you to do his podcast thing? Did you do it?
Yeah, he called me to do a podcast. Ron Sikowski, who is the guy who brought us out to Lebanon. He also called it. I think he asked me for a yawn. Did you get asked for a yawn?
No. Oh, what the fuck is he on?
Ron is a wild character. I don't know. I didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah,
I guess he was trying to cause like a global yawn through videos. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I didn't get that call. So I don't know about this. And he goes, yeah, and he asked me to send me like a video of my feet, which was like he's doing a global feet foot thing
for the right price.
Yeah,
Are you gonna set up an OnlyFans account?
I know, right? I'm a fucking cam girl.
Where can everybody find you?
All my handles are at Amir Comedy, and then yeah, the podcast is cool. You know, if people want to listen to that, that'd be dope. It's Salty Locks. Like you just look up Salty Locks with Amir K, and it's up there.
And you have YouTube?
So, yeah, it's on YouTube. It's YouTube video and audio. Yeah,
awesome.
So you can listen on Apple Podcasts or some shit, but you can watch it on YouTube.
Is your doggy still right there?
Yeah, he's here. I don't want to bother him.
Okay, well, I was gonna say.
Oh, you want to say bye?
Have him say
Doogie.
goodbye to everybody, Doogie.
Doogie, come here.
I'm making you bother your elderly dog just because I want to see him. I'm so. Oh my
Isn't he the
God.
fucking cutest? Look at his face.
See, so happy you picked him up. Aw, thank you so much for the podcast, Amir. This was amazing.
Dude, you're awesome, Jessimae. I love you, man. It was great to do this.
I can't wait to see you in the flesh, but 6 feet apart.
Absolutely. 6 feet apart. We'll do it again. Bye, babe.
Sharp Tongue Podcast. Beep, beep, beep.